All right, welcome back to another video. So in this video, what I'm going to go over is I'm going to teach you how to set up an automation that will automatically download your Zoom recordings once you've had a meeting, and then upload it to a Google Drive, and then send a Slack message. And then after that, it will delete the recording from Zoom. Now, the reason why you'd want to do this is because there is a limited storage within Zoom, and why pay extra if you don't have to? Google Drive usually get more storage, so you can do it that way, and then you can control your recordings even better. So one, you won't have to pay for the upgraded storage in Zoom. And then the other thing is you won't have to go and manually download your meetings from Zoom and then upload them to Google Drive. We can do this all automatically here and keep you below your storage. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to learn how to do this, stick around and let's get into this video. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to, if I show here in my Zoom account, so if we go down to in the admin section, go down to account management, recording management. You see for this client, I'm at 80% used. And if we hit the limit, we'll have to upgrade, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to keep this down below. All right. So one thing that you want to do in your Zoom account, under the account management, you want to go to account settings. So now in account settings, you go to recording. And then if you scroll down here to cloud recording, this, you want to make sure, you could, it's just gonna be a lot more work. Record active speaker, gallery view, and shared screen separately. You want to have that unchecked. If you have it do all of those, then just the way to go, you'll have to do some formatting and a lot of extra formulas. Actually, I can show you over here. One of my accounts is for my own personal one. What I have it here doing, now this is more complicated. We're not going over that complicated. We're making it simple in this video, but enough information to be better than super simple. Anyways, so here, this is, if I'm recording all the files separate, I have to pick out the specific one and I got to order it a certain way. And I'm not going to teach you that, not necessary for this video. This account, I just haven't turned it off for that. One I set up for another client this way is, so it downloads it. It also looks up the actual user. So who the sales team was, who the closer was. It looks up that information for that, because then in the Slack message, I actually have it tagging that specific user. But what this does is it downloads the recording, and then in this one, I have it uploaded into a specific folder based on whatever month it is. We're not going to go over that. Not necessarily. I'm just going to give you the basics, because this is pretty much, if you know how to do this, or if you get through all this, you can put in a specific filter if the start time, date, month is equal to this, yada, yada, yada. Not going to go over that in this video. We're just going to go over a simple download, upload, Slack message, then delete the Zoom recording. All right. Now that you had this, and you'll just have one of these two selected, either gallery view or shared screen or active speaker shared screen. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I just recommend not having this selected here. All right. So for this, I am using the software Make. If you have not used Make, it's very similar to Zapier. I think it's better. It's actually cheaper. So I think there's more you can do with it. But if you're interested in learning more about Make, I do have some other videos on my channel here that you can check out to learn about Make. Also, I do have my affiliate link down in the description. So if you go to sign up, it'd be appreciated if you use my affiliate link to help support this channel. But if you don't, either way. So anyways, we're going to hop into this. And now I'm going to teach you how to do this with Make. You can do it with Zapier as well, but Zapier costs more. So let's just do it with Make. And that's what I mostly use anyways. All right, so in your Make account, you're going to click on Create a New Scenario. We're going to go right from scratch. From here, we're going to search for Zoom. And we're going to select Zoom. I'm going to scroll down to the Watch Recordings. I'm going to select the recordings. Now we're going to create a webhook. Pretty simple. Create a webhook, name it whatever you want. I'll say Aaron's Zoom recordings, whatever. Now you need to create a connection. This, you can name whatever you want. I just usually leave default, whatever. Click save. Now you're going to have a pop-up here. And what this is just going to have you sign into your Zoom account. Click allow. And now create a connection. What we need to do now, that's a connection for this webhook. Now we need, under the events here, we need to select recording completed. There's other ones you can select. There's a lot more in here. So if you really want to go crazy with your Zooms, if you want to set up automations for when a recording started, when it was paused, when it was resumed, stop, many different things you can do. For this video, we're just going over the completed, most likely what most people out there are going to want to do. So we're going to click on save. Now we have that connection set up. I'll click OK. Now that's set up, nothing else you have to do, connecting to Zoom, it's good to go. I'm going to click the save button here. What I'm going to add in next is, well, what I'm going to do, so we have the appropriate data. I'm actually going to start a Zoom meeting, do a quick couple seconds so we have the recording, and then we actually have the data here that we can download and test and run. So I'm going to open a new tab, and I already have a Zoom link ready. So I'm going to go to that Zoom. I'm going to open it.
Recording in progress.
Meeting is starting. And I'm going to, I don't need my Fathom going. For here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn my video on. Hi, see me twice. Yeah. Audio. Now audio is going. Mute that. Turn my video off. This is all we really need. And I'm going to see how the recording is going. You also need to have the auto recording on. So that's another setting in your Zoom. Make sure that's set up. Otherwise, you would have to go in and manually start and stop the recording, which who wants to do that? Go ahead and click, I'm going to click on end the meeting. And now I'm going to come back into Make. All right. Now that the meeting is going there, if I go back into my Zoom and then I go down to recording management, now we see it's still processing. So this is going to take a couple minutes. What we'll do is we'll continue on with the setup and we'll come back and check on this. So I'm going to go back into Make here. Now, next thing I add in, and I do this for pretty much all of my scenarios whenever I set up, I'm going to add in this HTTP module and I'm going to choose the get a file. The only reason I'm adding this is so that I can cause a scenario to break. I want it to break so that I can run it multiple times without having to go back and say, record multiple Zoom meetings or fill out multiple forms or book multiple appointments, whatever I'm trying to do for my scenario. And so I add this in. In here, we're going to see this requires a URL. I'm going to choose something that's not a URL. Example, go to the gear icon, select execution ID, which is just a set of numbers. And because it's a set of numbers, it's going to cause this to break. And when it breaks, that means the scenario is still going to have that packet of information. It's going to be a queue. And then I can run it multiple times without having to go back and record multiple meetings. If you want to learn more about this, I do have a video. It's my top 10 tips for Make. It's actually a part 1 and part 2. You can find that up. I'll put it up in the corner here, probably also down in the description here. I don't remember exactly what tip it is, but I walk through this, a bunch of other useful tips for getting most use out of Make and how to efficiently use your Make account. So check that out. Really good video. But in here, we have this selected. Now, if I go back to Zoom, let's refresh here just to see if the processing is done. Okay, so it's not done, still going. We'll come back and check on that. What we're going to do next, while we're waiting for that, is we're going to select Zoom. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause the recording, and I'm going to come back once the processing is done, just to make it more streamlined this video. So I'll see when I get back. All right, I'm back. The Zoom recording has processed, and now we're ready to run this and test this. So I keep this get a file here. I have it off. You don't want to have it on because then this whole testing thing won't work. So when it's off, I'll click run once. Now you see there's a packet in queue ready to be run. I'll click use existing data and then see how there's an error. And that means if I go and click run once again, that packet of information, that queue is still in there. If it wasn't, if this just went through and was the check mark green and no other modules and it was a success, that information, that packet is, that data is gone. You can't use again. And that means you have to go back and start another Zoom recording. But we can do this multiple times so that we can test it to see our output. All right. Now, if we expand this out, we can see we have event timestamp, the event, download token, expand the payload, the recording. If we go down here, now you have a lot of information here. The topic, recording files. If we expand this out, now we have different recording files here. Shared screen with speaker view. And this other one we have is because also set up to just record audio, if you want that or not. But we have 2 different packs of information here. Great, that's what we want. Next, we're going to add in, so we watched the recording, now we need to download it. So we scroll down to cloud recordings, download a cloud recording. Add that in here, go into the cloud recording. What we're going to do is the download URL. You're going to see, oh yeah, another thing, anytime you see bold in a module here, this is not bold, but this is bold. Bold is required. A lot of forms and surveys, things like that, they have this asterisk, the star. In Make, it's bolded or not bolded. Just so you know, side note. So we need a download URL, obviously, if we're going to download something. Click recording, expand this out, and now we're going to go down to this recording files. not this recording file. I don't know the difference. This doesn't have any information, but the recording files has all the information. So I'm not really sure. I think it's because I'm also downloading the audio, or it's recording the audio as well, probably in the Zoom settings. But if I didn't have that, then it would be in the recording files. And so in that case, just find whatever one you have the data in here. Now for the download URL, we're going to find, hey, download URL. Perfect. Right there. You got the download URL. Next is the download token. So this is also, if you notice this here, you can only download a file within 24 hours of receiving the event notification. This means once a file has been recorded on Zoom, you have 24 hours to download it with an automation. You can go back into Zoom and you can download all your Zooms later on. They can be weeks, days, months old. You can still download them. But to do an automation, they limit you to only within 24 hours. The key thing about this is, say your make scenario breaks and then you didn't notice it, and 2 days later, well, now you try to run it, it's not going to be able to download it because it's outside the 24-hour window. Just a little side note so you know that. We're going to need the download token, and that is going to be right here under download token. So we're going to put that in there. And then the file name, you can name it whatever you want. The way I like naming my files is I like to go to the date and time formatter here. I will click the date format. Then in here, I want to get the actual time that this is running. So now, this current time when it runs, but I want to format it so it looks better. The way I like doing it, it's total preference for you. I like doing Y, which is the month or the year in 2024, not just 24, dash, capital MM for the month, dash, day. But you can format it however you want. You can put the time in there too. I don't think we need a time. Just need that. Format, so the date, then I can do space, dash, and then I will come back to the star here, which is for that module. And we're going to expand the recording. And I'm going to select the topic, which was the title of that meeting. So we have the topic there. Then I'm going to click OK. So now it'll download that recording. Next, we're going to add in, I want to upload to a Google Drive. I'm going to click on the add here, type in Drive. I'm going to choose Google Drive. You can choose OneDrive. You can choose probably even Dropbox, some other different file savers somewhere. But Google Drive is what probably most people are going to use. So I'm going to teach Google Drive here. Select Google Drive, and then I'm going to upload a file. Select Upload a File. Drag that over here. Move this over. Click into Google Drive. And then I'm going to select from the list. And the folder that I'm putting this in is actually, it was shared with me. So I'm going to select that shared with me. Click choose the folder location. And I am going to select, clicked away, the folder called Zoom, but whatever you want to name it. Now it's going to upload the Zoom recording into that folder. One thing I did notice, if I just keep the file here, download a cloud recording, it doesn't quite work in Google Drive for some reason. Not 100% sure on that. But if I click on the map and then I put in the file name here, one thing I notice is we have to add in .mp4 for it to work properly. You have to have the file extension there. I'm guessing maybe the download recording, it doesn't have download recording. It probably, because looks like numbers or something. So it probably doesn't have the actual extension on. So we're going to add the extension there, keep the recording there, and then click OK. So now what I'll do is I'm going to run this once, and we're going to see, we should see it in the Google Drive folder. So I'm going to run once, use existing data, download, uploading, and then fail. Good. Now we're going to go back into the folder, and I'm going to refresh the page here. And there we go. Now we got the recording in here. All right, so now I'm going to go back into Google Drive. And in here, right on top, we have that recording. If I double click this, now I can see the recording starting to play, and I have the recording there. If I click through, there's me. We got the recording in Google Drive. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Next, what I like doing is I want to send a Slack message. So I'm going to add another module. We're going to say Slack, and we're going to do Slack. Now I'm going to scroll down to create a message. Add in here, create a message. In here, I'm going to choose this specific channel. And for this one, I always like to test in a specific testing channel. So this is a public one. public channel, and I have this one called automation testing. This is what I use to test everything so that the rest of the team doesn't see all these messages blowing up in some channel. Just going to be in this one for my own personal testing. And I'm going to, what I want to type in the text here, say Zoom recording uploaded. Do that. Now I want to have two different links in here. So if I go back to, here's my Slack. This is the automation testing. I'm going to scroll back to the top here. What I want it to look like is Zoom recording uploaded, and I want to have link to the folder and a link to the file. So let me show you how to do that. Otherwise, it would look like this long, ugly link, and we're better than that. So we're going to make it pretty. We're going to do that. Type whatever you want, say link to, I like to do the little arrow, so dash, and this little side caret, I think it's called a caret, here. Now, we're going to do another one of those carets. So we need to put the caret, and what we're going to do now is we're going to put, I want to do the folder link first. So I'm going to come back to my Zoom here in my Google Drive folder. Make sure you're in that folder, and you can grab the link right from the URL here. Okay, so I'll copy that link, come back to make, and I will paste in the link there. Now, to have it a clickable link, what I'm going to do is the key that's above the enter key, the return key, return on a Mac, enter on a PC, shift, and that one. What it is, if you just did that key regular, it's the, what is that, the forward slash or the backslash? The one above the question mark, that other one. We're not using that one. So whatever the option is. I always forget which one is forward and backslash. Call it a slash. But you're doing this line here, and that's the one above the enter the return key. So shift and do that. Now, or shift and hit that key. Next, we're going to whatever word you wanted to say or phrase you want to say. We can say folder. And then we're going to close that caret. And now this is going to be a clickable link. Clickable link of folder. I also want to do is link to, again, we're going to do the same thing, but maybe we want to do a link to the file, or we can say recording, whatever we want to do. Do that caret again. And this time we're going to do a web view link from the Google Drive, the one that we just uploaded. Click on that. Now it's going to put that link in there. Do that tall line again. And this time say Zoom recording or Google Drive recording. Let's say Drive recording. It could just be one word. I'm just doing this to show you can do multiple words. And then I'm going to click OK. Now let's run this and test it. I run once, use existing, Zoom, Google Drive, it's uploading the file, send a Slack message. Let's come back into Slack. Let's check this out. If we go down the bottom here, and there you go. Zoom recording uploaded, link to folder, link to Drive recording. So if I click on folder, it's going to open up that folder. Perfect. If I come back, if I come back here and Drive recording, it's going to open up that recording, which is right here. So this is the recording. And click here, and now you can see. There you go. There's my picture. Okay. So we got that. Now, if you look at this, it's just a link. Maybe you want to have it say a video like this, actually uploading the file. I can show you how to do that too. You can either, let's remove this, unlink this, unlink. Let's move this out of the way. If you want to upload the file, you're going to add another module, and it's going to be upload a file. Upload a file, and slide it over here. Let's connect this always, just so we don't lose that packet. Now, this is a separate connection you have to make to Slack, so we're going to create a connection. Whatever, I'm just going to name this myself. This is just whatever you want. This is only internal use for the connection, and we have to establish connection here and click allow. All right, so we got that connection. Now we need to select the channel. I'm going to add an item. It is the public channel. I'm going to select that automation testing. Okay. And now in this case, you can just use the Zoom download a cloud recording. And the initial comment, that is whatever the message you want it to do. So Zoom, actually, let's just do this. Let's click out here. I'm going to connect this. See this little star here? That means it's still in draft, but I can do that. So it's just not saved yet. But I connect this so that I can come in here, and I'm just going to make this easy. Let's just copy all of this. Now I'm going to unlink this, back into this Slack. Oops, down here. Initial comment, paste that in. Click OK. There. Now let's run once, and let's see what happens. There, we got a success. So let's come back into Slack. Let's see how that worked. There we go. Zoom recording uploaded. link to the folder and link to the drive, and then you can also play it right from here, right from in your Slack message. All right, so that is how that works. So whatever one you want, either just the link or if you want to upload the file as well, we can do that. So this is all great, cool. We can have it, the recording is going into Slack, but that doesn't solve our initial issue of the Zoom storage getting full. So what we're going to do is we want to now delete the recording. Click on Zoom. I'm going to add another module in. This one's going to be delete a cloud recording. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so we're putting this in here. Click on Zoom. User ID. This you can really just select whoever, but I usually like to select whoever's an admin or the account owner, but it works for anyone. Now the meeting ID, this you got to go all the way down the bottom. We're going to go back to the original, the main one, the first module, and we're going to expand the recording, and we're going to select the meeting webinar ID. That's the ID of the meeting. Now the recording ID, same thing. We're going to scroll all the way down, get back to that first module, and then here we're going to do the file, recording files, and we're going to say the recording file ID, this first one. All right, so we have that. Now we click OK. And now when I run this, will then delete that cloud recording. After it's uploaded, it'll delete the cloud recording, and then you'll be good to go. And now you don't have to worry about your storage getting full in Zoom. But there's another thing that I do like to add in here. So I like to add a filter in the beginning. This filter, I want to add a filter in here because how many times do you start a Zoom meeting and then a couple seconds later you stop it for some reason because because it's very short. You started it, you stopped it for something. Do you want to have all those downloads in your Google Drive? Probably not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a filter in here only if it's above a certain file size. And what I usually do for that, I usually do if it's greater than 5 megabytes. I think that usually comes out to, if it's like greater than a minute. It's not a specific time, because I don't know if there's a duration in here. Is there? See, recording, start time, type 2, total size. Yeah, there's not a specific time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go based on the file size. In this case, if we choose total file size. All right, so now we have recording total size. Now this number here, this number is in bytes. So we need to we can't just type in 5 here for say 5 megabytes. What I like to do is, this is going to say greater than 5 megabytes. Now this is just to label the filter. So greater than 5 megabytes. But here, if you just choose 5, it's not in megabytes. This is in bytes. So there's 1,000. So this is 5,000 bytes, which is 1 kilobyte. So there's 1,000 bytes in a kilobyte. But then there's 1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte. So we need to add 3 more zeros. So now we have, I do that right. Let's see. Let me start over. That's 5,000 kilobytes. That's 5 megabytes. 6 zeros will get you 5 megabytes. All right, and we'll click OK. And so now we have this filter in here, and it just says greater than 5 megabytes there. Actually, I just noticed this. I don't know why I didn't notice it before or ever in the past, but I had to record this quick clip to add this in. So there actually is a duration in there, and you may have saw it as you're watching that clip of the video. But if I click here, or if I look into here, say we add an OR rule, and then under recording, there is duration right here. And this is in minutes. I don't know how I missed it before. The duration in minutes. And so you can say is greater than or equal to, say, 5, 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever you want. Say 5 minutes, then it'll pass the filter. So you can do that. Also, what I decided to add in on the Slack message here is I added duration and duration. So then people can just see how long that meeting actually was. All right, so I'll get back to the rest of the video. This one is less than 5, so it's actually not going to work. But if we do this, it will work. But for my testing, I'll actually lose that data, and I don't want to do that just yet. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to put this down. Just for this test here, I'm going to put it down less than 50. And so if I run once, just to show you how it deletes the recording. Well, actually, I guess I did that wrong. Oh, because I said equals. Okay, well, mistake there. It's supposed to be, let's just put in the correct filter. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the correct filter, but I didn't change the operator. It shouldn't be equal to, it needs to be greater than. So we'll go to the numeric operator, greater than or equal to. And now, if this total file size, the number is greater than or equal to 5 million, which is 5 megabytes, then it will pass through. Well, we don't have that anymore. However, I know the team has been doing some Zoom recordings, so we will have another one in here. So if we'll just do this run once, because there's another packet of Q in here. We'll see this is actually going to be a different one. Expand this out. Yeah, this is we got a different topic here. So this is a different recording. As we see, it worked. So this was greater than. See, this is 206,000. So this was probably a several minute. And then it deleted the recording. So now if I go back into Zoom, I'll be able to see that recording was deleted. If I go into Slack here, we'll see here is that new recording. All right, I can delete this now, unlink this. And if I auto align, what I also can do now is in here, now this is making this live. Now I want to go and select the actual channel that I want this to go to. When that's done, I'll click on save. I can turn it on. And so that concludes this video. I just showed you how to set up an automation so that you can download each Zoom recording that happens in your account, download it, then upload it to Google Drive, send out a Slack message, and then delete the recording from Zoom. That way you can limit your Zoom storage so you don't have to pay for the upgraded storage, because we don't want to do that. And also you just have this in, say, Slack or wherever you want to send it. You have it in your Google Drive. So if that was helpful, feel free to leave any comments down below. Any questions you have, I'll be sure to answer those. And also any other video ideas that you have, leave them down in the comments. Go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hope I provided value today. And with that being said, I will see you on my next video.